you come out of this leaf, this first leaf, make sure you get turned right back on the line. Make a pretty quick turn there and come back and start splitting that line right down the middle again. Very close to a perfect circle there. So we've got all of our pieces cut out now. I'm going to take it back over to the drill press and drill my center hole here for the clock, and then I'll meet you back over at the assembly table and we'll see if we can put this thing together. I've given all the pieces light sanding to get all the glue residue off and some of the fuzzies, and now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue up the frame around the backer board. So just going to take a little glue and glue this up. Won't require a whole lot of clamping or anything, I don't think. Get enough glue on here to get a good bond. Without too much squeeze out. Okay, I'm going to try and get this as flat as I can, get some of this glue residue off my fingers. And now I'm going to find just some small clamps and clamp that together, and we'll set it aside and let it dry. Do a little more sanding on the clock face. Once this dries up, I'll apply a little oil finish and then we'll put it the rest of the way together. We're at the assembly table now, and I've lit the frame around the back plate glue up. And the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and install the clock movement in the face dial and just simply set it down in the cutout. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make these spacers. And the spacers need to be, when you cut them, just slightly thicker than the gap between the backer board and the clock dial when the insert is sitting down in the hole. So let the insert go all the way down into the hole, and once you get it there, then make you up some standoffs that'll be about that size. And then what we're going to do is remove this and go ahead and take these standoffs, and we're going to glue them in the pattern that's shown on this piece of paper. So we're going to have one on each side of the square we cut out, and then we're going to have one for each one of the leaves. So basically I'm going to cut these standoffs by about a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. I'm going to glue them right there, and then of course I'm going to have one up here for one leaf and one down here for the other leaf. And make sure you get them all turned to the size. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that up, and then when we get that done, we can go ahead and glue the plate back down onto the face dial back onto the backer board. Okay, I've got the 4 spacers glued up here now. I'm going to leave the leaves for last so we can line those up the way we want them. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and make sure the clock is inserted into the piece. I'm going to put a little glue on the top of this, and then we're going to set it down and square it up. Now it's real important to get this squared up real nice. You want the clock movement obviously to be squared up inside the cutout. Just a little glue on top of each one of these spacers. make sure you get the bottom towards the bottom of the piece. So in other words, the two cutout leaves, the internal cutout leaves will go towards the bottom. Use your diamonds to help line yourself up top to bottom, and go ahead and set it down. Make sure you've got it lined up as well as you can. Now what you can do is you can pick it up and look from the bottom of the piece to make sure that you're squared up inside the cutout. I've got the clock dial glued down. I've got the spacers glued to the leaves and the leaves glued in place. And basically all we have to do now is let this glue dry for a little while. I'll go ahead and remove the clock workup and put some oil finish on it. Let that dry, spray it with lacquer, and then we'll put it back together, and I'll show you the finished project. Let the glue dry for several minutes now, and I think it's dry enough I can go ahead and put a coat of oil on it. So the way I usually do this is I just have a tub that I fill full of lemon oil and a rag, and I'm just going to dip this down in here and just get enough oil on it to totally saturate it. And I think that's got it pretty good. I'm going to stand that up and let it drip dry here for just a little while, and then we'll come back and go ahead and put the clock movement back in it, and we'll see what we got. Here's something I purchased the other day at Woodcraft that's come in pretty handy. It's these little pyramids that you can set things on when you're either spray finishing, or in this case I'm going to prop this up here to let the air flow around the project while I blow a fan on it to let this oil dry a little bit. Handy.